Hey, what's going on, guys? Like Butter here, and today I got a Division video, and I want to tell you guys some stuff that's been going on with me regarding the Division. I've been itching to play the Division again recently, but I obviously don't want to go into the Dark Zone in the current state that the game is in. So I actually made a second and now third character, which I haven't done before, so it was kind of a new experience for me to go back and go through and level a character up. And that's why I wanted to make this video today, because I was actually extremely surprised at how well the scaling was from level 1 to 30, and I want to explain to you, maybe if you don't know what scaling is. Basically, every single level, you get, access to higher weapons with better, stats and better talents and whatnot. And as that goes on, you start to get stronger and stronger. And from level 1 to 30, I was noticing a lot of times that I would get a weapon, say I was level 7 and I was fighting level 9, cleaners. And if I got a weapon that was level 5, I could still kill the cleaners. It didn't take forever to kill them with a level 5 weapon. But if I got a level 7 or a level 8 weapon, I could kill the cleaners a lot faster, and to a certain point where if you had a weapon that was the same level as what you were and what the enemies were, you were going to shred the enemies. And that's how it should be, right? You have cleaners, you have rioters, you have all these gang members, flooding the streets of New York City, and you're a Division agent. You should be able to just shred through all these people. And I think that's why, once you hit Endgame, when you're getting killed by some random, LMB pleb that's running at you with the shotgun, that doesn't feel good. You're supposed to be powerful. You're supposed to be strong. And I think that's why, from level 1 to 30, if you actually play smart enough and you have a good enough shot, you can clear, level, 17 NPCs with level 10 gear. You can do it. It's possible. However, once you hit Endgame, and I think this is why a lot of people stop playing the game, why a lot of people are super frustrated with the end of the game, is because once it hits level 30 and the gear score was introduced, it completely ruined that scaling. That scaling doesn't feel like it does in 1 to 30 anymore, because you have these gear sets, and this gear that is supposed to make you stronger, but you never really get stronger because of how strong the NPCs are. Now, another thing that I thought was really interesting is when I was leveling my other characters, I was using a lot of different weapons, right? I was using assault rifles, I was using SMGs, I was even using LMGs and shotguns and a bunch of stuff, because, you're getting weapons all the time of different types, and you might be like, oh, well, I like this MP7, but it's only level, 6, and I have this G36 that's level 10. The G36 is going to do more damage, and it's going to help me clear these mobs quicker, so I'm going to use the G36. It may not have the perfect stats or have the highest stats, but it's going to do until I get something better. And I don't feel like that's how it is at the end of this game. I feel like when you come across gear, especially if you're, decked out in 268 gear set items and you have 229 weapons, no matter how good a 204 piece is going to be, you're not even going to care, because that gear is not useful to you. Whereas when you're scaling from 1 to 30, that item, that level 8 gun might be better than that level 11 assault rifle that you have, because of, say, I don't know, you have a purple and it's got some really good talents. I think on one of my characters I have a level 18 MP5 that actually has brutal deadly, which is amazing. And it hits like a truck. It's so cool. And I wanted to, play another character, not only because I want to get a couple more characters a little bit higher up, maybe to level 30, so that I can get multiple supply drops. If you guys don't know, you can get multiple supply drops if you have multiple characters on level 30, which is pretty cool. And I also wanted to try and go to the Dark Zone on a lower level to see how the PvP was without, overpowered skills and without Reclaimer and Sentry's Call and shotguns that one-shot you. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much I enjoyed it. You know, nobody had a heal that you could, you know, run in and out of. Nobody had a pulse that would give you, you know, 1,000,000 crit damage and 1,000,000 crit chance. Nobody had, you know, a smart cover that they could bounce off of and become invulnerable. And it felt like the PvP was in the beta. And I think a lot of the problems with PvP, that, you know, I'll leave that for another story. I think we've already almost covered all of those issues. But I think proper scaling with the NPCs would make for a better experience overall, because a lot of people don't like the Dark Zone, not only because the PvP is unbalanced, but because the mobs are just way too tanky and do way too much damage. Even in Underground, you're going to see a lot of things that just doesn't make sense. Now, I'm playing through this challenging mission here, and I'm playing against cleaners, which is a lot easier than LMB. And I want you to see how much effort it takes for me to, you know, clear this by myself. It's unbelievable how hard I had to try to clear this solo. And to see that for a reward, I got 2 204 items and a 204 item out of the box just makes it not worth. Like, there's no point, you know, playing through this even on challenging if the gear that you're getting isn't going to be good enough for you to use. And I think the problem with the endgame right now is that in order to, you know, do heroic, you need the 268 items, which you get the 268 items from heroic. So it kind of reminds me of the picture of the scissors that has the zip tie, that has the scissors, you know, like basically pinched together so that you can't open them. It's like you need the scissors to cut the zip tie off of the scissors. It just doesn't make sense. So I think that if they somehow can create higher levels, like, I really hate that the leveling stopped. I really think that the levels should go up to like even 50 and have the, you know, the divisions that are in the Dark Zone scale off of level. Like, even if you have to go through and beat heroic or, you know, beat any of the harder modes, I think it would have been super beneficial to actually start getting XP towards those higher levels. That way they can keep the scaling proper without needing to kind of just basically, you know, jack the NPCs up to millions upon millions of health and millions of DPS, just because, you know, when you have groups of 4 that are all running skills and stuff, it becomes too strong. So I think that, you know, the scaling would be better if they added more levels and something like that. I hope that's something they do in the future. I think adding gear score was really good for short term to kind of keep, you know, give us something to do while the level was maxed. But I really think the cap on that level needs to come up soon, or they're going to have some, you know, big problems ahead, because the scaling in this game just isn't good. Now, are they going to nerf NPCs? I really hope so. I hope NPCs get a, you know, a steady balance. They shouldn't have millions of health. They shouldn't have millions of DPS. That's not how you make it harder to clear, you know, NPCs. They should make maybe greater, you know, amounts of waves of NPCs, or have them come from different angles at the same time, where your team has to strategize, and make them, you know, possibly more aggressive, or, you know, give them things like the RC cars, like the, you know, the techs that have the RC cars for the cleaners, things like that, that they can, you know, create like harder environments and, you know, requiring more teamwork without having, you know, each, you know, random NPC, even the NPCs that you kill and get nothing for, take 7 to 8 clips per player. You know, that shouldn't be the case. So I think it's pretty interesting. Right now, with the, you know, the state that the game's in, I don't think the Dark Zone is fun. I don't think solo is even possible. You know, it's definitely not possible, you know, in Underground. I mean, I have a maxed out character with one of the best builds you can have right now, with the best stats on the best gear, and I barely got through this mission on challenging. Like, you can forget, you know, ever getting through it on heroic. Maybe if you use Sentry's Call and you know, you spend a really long time or something, or you have some sort of strategy down, that's cool. But in my opinion, sitting there shooting NPCs for hours, I think this this mission took like 35 minutes, and I got 1,000 underground XP and 3 204, you know, weapons. That's, you know, weapons and gear, whatever, high ends. and that just wasn't fun. It wasn't good. It wasn't productive. It wasn't anything. It was just me kind of just playing the mission so that I can, you know, talk over it. But if I were somebody who wasn't a YouTuber or wasn't, wasn't creating a video right now, would people enjoy that? Absolutely not. That's not fun. So they need to try to figure out how to get the scaling like it was from level 1 to 30. Like, I can't tell you how awesome it would be if they raised the level cap to like 45 or 50, and then all of a sudden, you know, I get that level, 36 purple that has, better stats or, better base damage than all the weapons that I have now. And it finally, it's going to give us reasons to use different weapons and reasons to try different stuff until we perfect that level 50 gear. And even when we do perfect that level 50 gear, the PvP and the end game should feel balance, which it just doesn't right now. But I do think, however, that in survival, we are going to get either a PvP arena or battle royale or some sort of game mode where it's going to kind of give PvPers like myself a balanced environment in order to have another option of endgame. Now, I think this would be great if they had like a PvP arena or something like that, because what it would do is it would let the PvEers who want to go to the dark zone and have the dark zone be, like a PvE area where it's possible to PvP, but you don't have to. And I think that with a PvP arena or battle royale or something for, players like myself who really enjoy doing that, it will really take away a lot of the rogues and a lot of the people who just want PvP, because I think that's why a lot of people get frustrated, because there's sometimes you'll be in a situation where you got a group of players who only want to PvE in the dark zone, you got a group of players who want to PvP. The group of players who want to PvP are going to kill that other group because they want to go rogue and they want action, so they're going to do it, and they're going to camp checkpoints, they're going to do anything they need to do possible to get that rogue status. And I think the rogue system was a good idea, but without balanced PvP it doesn't make sense. And I don't think that the dark zone will ever have true balanced PvP, but they can balance it better, with nerfing shotguns and making sentries call sniper build only, and there's ways that they can do it, but it's going to take a lot of changes for them to do that. So I highly suggest, if you're itching to play the Division like I was, but you don't want to play, the end game that, is available in the game right now, which I don't blame you, I really highly suggest making another character, level through, and now that you know so much about the game, leveling through 1 to 30, take it all in. Like, there's so many things that, I was getting weapons, and I was getting, I was getting gear that had, 60 firearms, and it had 2% pulse critical hit damage, and all these low amounts that I don't remember ever paying attention to the first time I went from level 1 to 30. And when you know so much more about the game, it's like you can kind of respect it so much more of how much is really in this game and how special the grind from level 1 to 30 was. And I really think you guys will enjoy it. I'm actually working on getting a character to level 19, and then in level 19 I'm going to use that character to go into the dark zone and try to get some true PvP without any of the overpowered skills or anyone maxed out on skill power and using gear sets and that kind of thing, until 1.4 comes out, which I have no idea when that's hitting. A lot of people think I know. I definitely don't, but my guess would be early to mid-September. That's probably the earliest that we're gonna get it, I would say. But I think there's a bright future for the Division. I definitely think that there's some really awesome things coming up, and I think we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see, and put our hopes or our trust in the developers. And I know they don't have the greatest track record because of all the problems, but you do got to remember, this is the first game of this kind that they've created. And, when you have companies that are making games for the first time, first type of game, they're going to run into a lot of issues, and you really can't, blame them for that. The Division is such a complex game. And another thing that I wanted to explain, which I thought was pretty interesting, is playing back from level 1 to 30, a couple more times. I never did that before. It was interesting because you start to pull, soak in how amazing the level design was on creating this massive, you know, New York replica, which I've seen so many pictures and so many videos, and you see these landmarks and they look exactly like they do in the game, and it's fantastic. But we never ever get to really experience that. You get through level, you know, you get through 30, and then, you know, the only thing you're going to do is either missions, HVTs, or the Dark Zone. And the HVTs and the incursions and stuff were, you know, good ideas for Endgame and whatnot, and the HVTs get you to kind of run around the city a little bit more and take in some of that environment. But I really think that it would be so awesome if the entire map was used in like some sort of battle royale game mode, where you could queue up for it and you would use the entire map, and you would have to loot boxes to get gear. And, you know, as you get gear, you know, you're going to get a little bit stronger, so you have to loot, you have to, you know, prepare where you're going to get things. They can drop supply drops, and basically you get temporary gear, which you'll lose at the end of the game. Just like in H1Z1, you loot up, you fight other players, last person, you know, standing wins, and then that person, obviously you lose all the gear that you got, and then you play again. And what you can do is you can give rewards for like first, second, and third place. Like first place gets a gear set item, second place gets a high-end weapon, you know, so on and so forth. So I think that would be pretty amazing. It would be nice to be able to get into gunfights and have that solo thing that somebody can play. And I think Battle Royale is one of the best things that you could ever put in the game for a solo player, because you can go in there and know that you're going to be, you know, playing a fair fight. You're going to be playing because everyone, it's a Royal Rumble essentially. Everyone's fighting each other, so it's 1v1, v1, 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 etc. You know what I mean? And I really hope that's something in the making, because I can just picture it now. Like the snowstorm slowly pushing you into a part of the map, and then everyone fighting it out. It would be fantastic. Like, even if they blocked off all the enterable buildings, like, it would still be amazing, just because of how well, you know, the level design is on the New York map. So I really, really hope that we get some sort of battle royale game type, or some scaling with solo. I hate not being able to play this game solo, because sometimes I'm just in a mood where I just want to talk to my stream, and I just want to relax, and I just want to play by myself, and it's so hard to do that in this current state. But I really, like I said, I think some big things are coming up soon, so I just want to let you guys know, you know, I'm not giving up on the Division by any means. I'm taking a small break until, you know, the game gets in a better state. And I think you guys, if you're really itching to play the Division, make another character, take your time, go from 1 to 30, and just take in the scenery of how amazing they made New York look. And like I said, I hope in the future we have another game mode or another, you know, arena or something where we can experience that level design in action. I think it would be awesome. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys want to watch the rest of the gameplay here, it was actually right down to the wire. I had to use my pistol to finish it, but you'll see, you know, after all of this hard work, blood, sweat, and tears I put into this this challenging mission, I got 204 weapons. So you can see what I'm talking about with the end game just not being balanced as far as loot and, you know, scaling of NPCs and scaling of weapons, etc., etc. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.